Tonight is one of our favorite nights of the year as we celebrate our Forest Hills community, our beloved retirees, our tireless, devoted, dedicated bus drivers, transportation department, and now another very special individual. The Ben Emdin Guiding Principles in Action Award honors those in our school community who have started a project of long-term benefit and/or have consistently demonstrated the district's guiding principles of respect, caring, collaboration, diversity, learning, trust, open communications, and high expectations over many years of service to our students, schools, and/or our community. This award is named for Ben Emdin. He served our district in a variety of roles for nearly 40 years. Ben served Forest Hills in the 60s and 70s as a teacher, a principal, and a district business manager. From the early 80s through June of 2002, he served our district as a parent volunteer and school board member. During those years, Ben chaired or co-chaired every one of our district's millage and bond elections, and every single one was successful, resulting in over $190 million in district improvements. He also served as president of this board for over 5 years. Upon Ben's retirement in 2002, the district introduced our highest award of recognition, the Ben Emdin Guiding Principles in Action Award. Tonight, the board will once again bestow this award on an incredibly deserving individual. I would like to invite Ben, if you would like, to come up and join me to help present tonight's Ben Emdin Guiding Principles in Action Award. So, Forest Hills has a deep history rooted in academic excellence and community engagement made possible through rich, sincere relationships between students, teachers, staff, and our community. Our history helps shape us and define us, but as a living, learning organization, we must also grow, change, and continue to improve. As an education system, we believe what Dr. Rita Pearson, a revered educator, has said. Every child deserves a champion, an adult who will never give up on them, who understands the power of connection and insists that they become the best that they can be possibly. Tonight, we are celebrating a true champion in education, one who has dedicated a significant part of his life to loving and serving Forest Hills, one whose true North Star has always been doing what is best for kids. I would like to invite the 2023 recipient of the Ben Emdin Guiding Principles in Action Award to join me here at the podium, our very own Superintendent, Dan Bean. You might have noticed he didn't know this was coming, and it's quite a team to make sure he was surprised, because we know him. If he would have known, he never would have shown up. And this is very deserving, so bear with us. We have some really nice stuff to... Sorry. So, and it's kind of funny, a few years ago, we found ourselves entering into a pandemic, and Dan started using the word nimble. So you get to be nimble tonight. So sort of adjust your course, and here we go. Not what you expected. In March, you announced your retirement. Tonight, we are celebrating your leadership, your 17 years of service as superintendent of Forest Hills, and more than 3 decades of service to Michigan Public Schools. You are among the longest-serving public school superintendents in the nation and the longest-serving superintendent in West Michigan. Your 22 years of service as a superintendent makes you one of Michigan's most experienced and respected superintendents. Dan, you are highly sought after to comment on public school policy, leadership, government decisions, and you are held in high esteem among all your peers. In fact, your superintendent peers unanimously elected you as the president of the Kent County Superintendents Association this past fall. It's an inaugural year. Tough time saying that. One of these peers said, once upon a time, Dan is an innovator, a problem solver, a big picture thinker, and a strong contributor to the greater good of public education within Kent ISD and the state. He is a leader among the superintendents in our Kent Intermediate Superintendents Association and is a leader among his peers at MASA, Michigan Association of School Administrators, sorry, acronyms. He served as chair of the MASA Legislative Committee for 10 years and is a member of the MASA Council for 10 years. We now applaud his decision to capitalize on the relationships forged in these groups to collaborate with legislators and leaders around the state to ensure the best for all students in the state of Michigan. But there's more to Dan than his accolades or his curriculum vitae. His heart, passion, and dedication are unmatched. 17 years ago, Dan was happily and very successfully serving as the superintendent of Carmen Ainsworth Schools on the other side of the state. This is the district that he called home, where he grew up. He claimed there were only 2 districts he would even consider moving for. Luckily, one of those was Forest Hills. As a matter of fact, it is common practice when interviewing potential superintendents to visit the finalists' districts. We only visited Carmen Ainsworth after final interviews, as Dan was the obvious choice. Your dedication and vision has led to accolades beyond measure for our district. With your leadership, our gifted teachers are preparing our kids for our 21st century world. And one of our revered, we have this all over the place, I apologize, high school administrators once said, as the environment of public education changes, it is extremely important to have a leader that has the ability to have a view from 5,000 feet. A leader that is able to creatively and expertly build and lead a team towards that vision, a leader that consistently places students' best interests at the center of all decisions. Dan Dean is that leader, and we are very lucky to have had him. Dan's vision has also led to you shepherding us through one of the most trying times in public education history. You had been with us for almost 15 years in 2020. We had definitely discussed retirement. Then, as fear became the norm, unknown was common. In the summer of 2020, you stayed the course. You led us through the pandemic and ensured Forest Hills kids had more in-person learning than any of Michigan's large public school districts. We are so grateful you supported our community through numerous challenges over these past few years. You have made a positive impact on hundreds of thousands of students, educators, community members, leaders, family members, and more. And you have made a positive impact, the best ever, in the lives of your family. You juggled a number of the traditional stressors when moving to Forest Hills: new job, marriage, moving across the state. I can remember somebody stealing pipes out of the house that you're trying to sell on the other side of the state. But I'll tell you what, you talk about we're all about kids. Dan has 10,000 kids, but he has 2 very special ones, and I will never forget his relationship with his board. When his wife was at one of our board meetings, in the twinkle in his eye, I knew they'd come to tell us they were going to be parents. And that has been a very neat sort of governing factor in how he knows that everybody's kids are the most important prized possession we have, and that has governed his decision-making and his passion over all these years. You have poured your heart and soul into all of us, and for that we are eternally grateful. You personify the Ben Emdin Guiding Principles in Action Word. You always note the importance of the district's guiding principles and how they serve as the enduring values of Forest Hills, and you model them every day. Within months of your arrival, you had to advise your board of an issue with the staff and your plan to address it, but you made it very clear as the new guy that every human being deserves to be treated with dignity. I will never forget that, and you haven't either. Learning, caring, and collaboration are 3 of the principles you always highlight with staff. You said, the collaboration of thousands of caring educators and the generosity of our supportive families and community over the years form a winning combination for kids. This selfless team knows no bounds when it comes to helping our youth learn, grow, and thrive. The strength of Forest Hills can be found in the hearts of its people. Throughout Dan's tenure, the community supported 3 bond elections to help improve and enhance our schools and inspire students. Under his leadership, the district launched a K-12 Mandarin Chinese immersion program, installed numerous project and problem-based learning opportunities like onboarding, our STEM Academy, Project Next, and many, many more. Our graduation rate is at the highest level in the district's history, and we have increased the percentage of high school students enrolled in advanced placement courses. Through all of this, Dan has always led with what is best for students. His vision for them is to find the joy in learning, in life, and their happiness. Safety and success is his utmost priority. We lost a student years ago, and Dan wore a bracelet of support for that student for years. He cares about these kids like he cares for his own. Dan has created a legacy, and while we could spend hours, or I could, reminiscing and talking about accomplishments, there are a few other people who would like to say a few words about your leadership and service. Let's watch.
Dan has the ability to look at complex issues and sort of sort of find what is the real issue. And it's unusual to have that much ability and that much insight into the human mind and into the psyche of the human being to really look at, so this is what we're hearing, but where's the real issue? I think that was one of his biggest strengths for us, was to help us navigate through the challenges. And there were challenges all along. The challenges, and really look at what is the core issue, and then what's best for kids, what's best for our community.
But he also asks great questions. He's probably one of the most curious people I know, which I think is a trait of any great leader. You have to be curious, you have to be asking questions, not in a nosy way, but in just I want to understand this better way. That always made me better, because I knew going into his office with an issue, I needed to have my act together. I couldn't go in there and just slop through it, because I might know just a little bit more, because I knew he'd always be asking questions. And again, not in a negative way, but in okay, I want to make sure we're all on, have we thought of this, have we looked at this? And he just has that natural curiosity. It's just a natural thing with him, which I think is rare, but really nice when you work for somebody like that.
I also appreciate you constantly pushing that as a community we work things out together. You have shown over your 17 years compassion and composure. You have shown the ability to show what civic discourse can and should look like, and I really appreciate that.
One of the things that always stands out the most to me is when he would come into a meeting or we'd have a casual conversation and he would talk about his experience going to the schools, particularly Soup with the Soup. When he would go and say, if you ever want to fill your bucket, go to the school and spend time with kindergartners or students of any age. And I saw the energy that brought to him coming into a room and spending time with the students of all ages, learning about what they loved about their school and loved about their teachers. And I think that's emblematic of Dan, is that his first priority from the day he got here, and I've known him since then, up until today, has been kids first and what can I do to support the staff.
Dan, thank you for your vision. I remember, about 10, 12 years ago, you stood on the stage on opening day and challenged all of us teachers to innovate. And so many of us took that and ran. You provided opportunities for us to innovate. We were excited, we were inspired, and our students have benefited in so many ways from that vision and that charge.
Dan, I'm delighted to be one of the people who is able to express my most heartfelt congratulations on your winning the Ben Emdin Guiding Principles Award. No one could possibly be more deserving, and we're so proud and so excited for you. I'm also here to tell you thank you for your years of dedicated service to our Forest Hills Public Schools community. It has been an incredible gift and a treasure to work with you these many years. But I'm also going to be giving you a report card. And you know that I'm a really, really tough grader, so I have to share with you that I'm giving you 3 C's. But don't worry, it's not the C's that you might be expecting. It's a C for courage, for your courageous leadership, for being the kind of principled and centered leader that we've always been able to depend on to make even tough decisions for these many years. It's also a C for connecting, because as a true servant leader, you have been someone who has always connected on a deep and genuine level with our students and our teachers, with our principals, with your leadership team, with members of your boards, and with the entire Forest Hills community. And finally, it's also a C for compassion, because you've always led with a genuine, caring heart and a love for the individuals that you have mentored and worked with over these years. So as a charter member of your fan club, Dan, I'm here to say thank you and congratulations. We are all looking forward to the next exciting chapters of your career and your life, and we are looking forward to being part of that. Our sincere thanks to you.
Thank you, Dad, for all you've done to the schools. I love you.
Thank you, Dad. All of us kids really appreciate you, and you always have the best time with us, and I really love you.
Thank you, Superintendent Bean.
So Dan, obviously you are a servant leader, an educator, teacher, colleague, listener, doer, and friend. But most importantly, you're a son, a husband, and your most cherished title is dad. So far as our guiding principle of high expectations, we aspire to see you make every day of this next chapter your best day ever with all these people who love you. I've had the pleasure of helping hire you and serving with you for your entire tenure. So I might have to challenge Dr. Fonner in chartering your fan club. But for now, it is my sincere honor to award you with the 2023 Ben Emdin Guiding Principles in Action Award.
Well, Mary, you stinker, you really surprised me on this. I had a completely different plan, and I thought, oh my gosh, did one of our, because I thought we had 2 awardees, neither me, and I thought, she said 1. I said, oh my gosh, did one not able to make it? So, Mary, I'll have to get back with you some way. And thank you. You know, when I think of our guiding principles, they are a common thread that binds this community together, and it brings out the good that is in everyone. I am convinced to my core that every single person, regardless of your name, your title, your age, is here to do good in the world and wants to do good in the world. And our schools are a factory for goodness. That's what our staff members do each and every day. And Ben, these principles that are connected to your name help to guide us and re-guide us. As times as human beings, and I've been here many times, where I will ask a question or I may stray a little bit and not realize it. And the guiding principles are able to help me say, oh, here's the direction that we need to go. We aspire to them all the time. There are times in our daily moment where they may be in the back of our mind, and then something brings them in the front of our mind. So thank you, Ben, and the Millennium Task Force that set down these principles. They are timeless, and they have served me well, and I was not here at all during their inception. Forest Hills is such a special community and such a special place for me. Some of you may know when I came here, I was married 1 week. And I have to say to my best friend, Valerie, who's here tonight, I couldn't have done this without you. Thank you, honey. Thank you so much. And before there were the guiding principles in my life, there were my parents. And I'm so fortunate to be raised in a family. My mom and dad raised 4 boys, and I was the youngest. And I learned a lot from my brothers, mainly what not to do. But I learned a tremendous amount from my mom and dad. And my mom is here with me tonight. Thank you, Mom. And as I think of the incredible people who wear as really an incredible badge of honor and courage and determination and hope, are all the people who work for this wonderful institution, Forest Hills Public Schools. I marvel at what you are able to bring out in kids across this community. One of our longtime principals, Dr. Sue Gutierrez, added up an estimate of the number of students over my time here. And she got, I think, above 17,000 different students over that time. And I think of the incredible growth that our teachers are able to bring out of our students. I've been sitting in your seats many times watching this stage, and I will see students do things that they didn't know they could do, but their teachers did. And the confidence that that builds, the things that our students are out in the world doing, it's just a tremendous thing. And so to be a part of that, I've always said there's two jobs in the organization. There are people who serve students directly, like our incredible bus drivers tonight, like our teachers. And then there are people that have job two, and that's to support the people who do the first job, job one. And it's been the honor of my career to be in job two, supporting all the people that work with our students on the front lines each day. I am incredibly grateful for the members of the board, Dr. Fauner, who was in charge of the search committee when I came to Forest Hills. And Jim, without you, I don't know where my life would have gone. But what I do know is these past 17 years have been a gift. And I am so honored to bring my 30-year career in public education to a close here in Forest Hills. It's because of everyone here and all of you that two of my greatest gifts in my life came from this time, and that's my two daughters, Zoe and Carly, who are here. Thank you, girls. Yeah, it's very proud. And we aren't going anywhere. We want our girls to be in a great school system, and there's so many outstanding teachers and staff members and secretaries and bus drivers and school nurses and musical educators, you name it, they're here, and that's where we want them to be. So we will continue to cheer on not only our girls, but students all across this district and the incredible staff members who I am so grateful for, who work with them every day. Just a final word, I want to say thank you to the members of the Board of Education and all the members of the Board of Education over the years that I've been so grateful to learn from and with. And I also want to have a big heartfelt thanks to a team of people that work tirelessly behind the scenes. They work twice the number of hours I do, and that's our administrative team. You know, when I first became an administrator at the too young age of 26, an outgoing, longtime principal retired 2 weeks after I started. And he said, "Welcome to the world of administration." He said, "Your job is to make decisions. And just like an umpire, you won't get it right every time. But always have what's best for kids in your heart and do your best." And that's what I've tried to do. So thank you to my cabinet team, Christine and Scott and Julie, and former cabinet members like Linda Vanderjack and Tim Raymer, and Gloria Graber and Ann Edzinga, and Karen Lott, and Scott Korpak, and so many more as I'm trying to recall all of them, and all of our principals and administrators throughout our schools. Thank you for all the tireless work that you do day in and day out. And just a last bit of word to our community. Superintendents always ask me, Forest Hills seems like a special place. What makes your district special? And I said, well, we've got great staff members, but I said, we have a tremendously caring community. They are involved all the time. And it doesn't make it easy, but it shouldn't be easy. This is important work. The work we're doing for our nation's future is important work. And we won't always agree on the best way forward, but we can always agree that our kids are worth it. Our kids are worth the long meeting or the extra conversation or the extra phone call. And I hope we can be a model for other communities as we try to come together and work through differences of the day with the one common thing in mind, and that's always doing what's best for our kids. No matter what age we are, there's always a next generation that's coming forward. And that's what gives us all hope, and that's what makes this such a special place. So thank you to Forest Hills community. Thank you so much. I will treasure this.
Well, that was a beautiful presentation, and I will not try to top it. Very, very well done. I will only say that, Dan, congratulations, and thank you so much for everything you have given to our students and our community over the last 17 years. It is very meaningful, and I say right from the bottom of my heart that I am honored to have my name associated with you on this award. And we wish you all the best in your future challenges, because I know you'll find something else cool to do. I have one other comment to all the retirees in the room. I would like to personally, from the community, thank all of you for your years of work and commitment to our students and our community. Your work has been so meaningful, and I wish you a wonderful retirement. Actually, what I wish for you is that you will be as happy in retirement as I have been. And with that, it was great being here. See you next year.